morning, Tracy. You going to be remote today?
Good morning, I am.
Okay, wonderful. I can hear you well.
Perfect. I can hear you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Morning, Tracy. This is Charles, the judge.
Good morning, Charles.
And check two. And check two. They're handy. It's reached that age. Oh, they're handy. I know. Once you get something like that, though, it's hard. I used to use those for glasses or sunglasses and stuff. Man, they're really handy. Yeah, oh yeah. Right there. Oh, I can read this old stuff. Right. Um, well, I think it's gonna go up to it. Okay.
I'm not really sure if we'll go over. Just in, oh shoot, because I need to return that hand.
Looks like there's another one at 12. Um, yeah, rulemaking hearing with Nancy. Yeah, they have that locked off from noon to 5.
That's okay. I'll get into it. So you'll be out at 10:30 or 10:45 or what time would you?
Well, yeah, I may get a hold of Emily at her stream. Somewhere in that area.
Okay.
I guess I should say.
No, I can work with that.
Because essentially, if I do it in here, I'll have to have her do it from another remote here.
With this.
Because I have to break
hold.
Have to break. We're going to be running simultaneous streams. So, right. But you think you will be done before Nancy's? Hard to know, huh?
I get your turn. I don't think I can back after agenda.
Right.
But can I get done in
Maybe. I just ask these questions because that's how I have to set up for streaming purposes. Like for that, it doesn't take me out. I just have to break it in two, and in each parts.
I have this.
Yeah, Tracy, no way.
Oh, sure. I still have that many questions. They don't say
Oh.
it's a mic.
Wow.
But it should, I wouldn't imagine that's gonna be very long.
And so, we talked about that. How's that chance?
Oh, absolutely.
Really bad. We might log in and check in. Make sure.
I can't tell anybody in the house knows that.
Hi, yeah. Might make your credentials.
Right.
For a while.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get logged in and everything.
I hope, I thought
Right,
it
just
would be
fine.
done, and we want the everything here, but if not, you can't break that screen, but break everything parts. So.
Because I feel like, at this point, Ryan.
But Charles, you seem to be with you. by appointment. That's why I asked her. So,
Okay.
yeah, she could not have to do the 10th or do other things, but that'll let us go later.
Perfect.
Yeah, so 10:45 or 10:50 or something. Because she's just doing that.
Perfect.
That helps.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a text and let you know that we're open.
Okay, thank you. How's things in Joplin, Charlotte?
And mix it still, because I'm extra. I do.
I feel like it's warmer out here.
Good, awesome, Emily. Thank you.
Good morning. This is Jermaine Grubbs on behalf of Liberty. Can anyone in the hearing room hear me?
Yes, Counselor. This is Judge Hatcher. We can hear you just fine.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Judge, this is Jim Flaherty. I just wanted to do a mic check as well.
Ditto. Mr. Flaherty coming in perfect.
Thank you.
Morning, this is Tim Lyons. I'd like to do the same on mic and video check.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons. You're coming through just fine.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Judge, you may find this to be somewhat humorous. I got this entry from the judge. Actually refreshed it.
I had no idea that was how you pronounced it back in the day. Miss Williams, how you doing? Okay.
How are you? You're
9 a.m. Our court reporter is on the WebEx and already checked in. If I have not said that already, let's go on the record. Today's date is the 7th of January, 2026. We are here for an on-the-record evidentiary proceeding.
This meeting is being transcribed and summarized.
Thank you. This is case number ER-2024-0261. For everyone on our WebEx, please mute your phones and double check your WebEx at this moment to make sure that you are muted, please. For everyone in the courtroom, please just check your phones and make sure that those are muted or any other electronic devices. Let's go ahead and, for the record, make our entries of appearance. We will start with counsel for the company, Empire District Electric Company.
Thank you, Judge. Dean Cooper from Bryden Swearingen, England, PC, appearing on behalf of the Empire District Electric Company doing business as Liberty. On the WebEx, we also have Mr. James Flaherty of the law firm of Anderson and Bird, and Ms. Jermaine Grubbs, who is of the company.
Thank you. And this is a good time to note that Empire witness Brian Bergstresser has been excused from appearing today. Let's move on to introductions of staff.
Good morning, Your Honor. Eric Vandergriff, appearing on behalf of staff. I'm joined today by Mark Johnson, Travis Pringle, Lexi Kloss, Andrea Hansen, and Scott Hanning. Our business address is the Governor Office Building, 200 Madison Street, Jefferson City, 65102. The PO Box is 360.
Thank you. And for the Office of the Public Counsel, Mr. Williams.
Nathan Williams, Chief Deputy Public Counsel, appearing on behalf of the Office of Public Counsel and the public.
Thank you. And Consumers Counsel for Missouri.
Good morning, Your Honor. John B. Kaufman, appearing on behalf of the Consumers Counsel of Missouri.
And for the record, the next two parties have been
Who aren't, using those walk-in centers. We did understand that, our customers have experienced challenges from a billing perspective, and some of those challenges can be complex, and some of them have been struggling to get answers over the phones. And so that is the primary purpose of why we are reopening Aurora, to just see what is happening out there. Are there still these more complex issues out there that our customers are struggling to get responses? From an industry perspective, we are outside of the norm to continue to have walk-in centers. That isn't really the norm of the industry anymore. I do understand why we have them is because we've really struggled with our deployment of our customer first system. And so we've really wanted to make sure that we were out there and offering an option for our customers to have an in-person option. But these other opportunities should actually be more convenient for them to go into the Walmarts, to go into the CVS's. And as those stores and those footprints grow, we're also growing with them. Our provider has told us that if there's some of these communities are smaller, they might not have a big Walmart there, they might not have a CVS. They're very much willing to work with a smaller, mom and pop, a liquor store, a grocery store that's smaller, that's in the area, that they will accept payments, set up an arrangement where we can accept payments from there. And so we're very much wanting to work with our customers, but as you've seen, opening up an office is quite an expense to us as a company, and logistically with, having to set up credit cards through a third party and armored cars and all those things for cash, it is definitely an expense for us as a company.
I understand and acknowledge those expenses. I think we're in a place of customer experience where we want to be helpful, but then when the person comes in to get help, we may not be being as helpful as we could be to the customer. And so I really would encourage thinking about trying to expand those, at least in the short term, payment options at any in-person center until customer experience improves in the long term. So I'll be looking forward to looking at those metrics in May.
Yeah, appreciate that and appreciated your feedback. And
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why we did the Aurora experiment, so that we could really see what the need is out there. So appreciate your feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Are there any other commissioner questions for witness Walt? Commissioner Coleman, go ahead.
Thank you. Excuse me, Ms. Wald. I may have just been having one of my senior moments when you answered the question from Chair Hahn. So I might have missed this. I do know that the number of complaints that we've received are still centering around the offices. Did I miss you explaining anything relative to customers being able to pay in the office? Is that the part that Chair Hahn is questioning because of the inability to pay in the offices?
They can pay in all of our existing walk-in offices. We, based on some feedback, we actually reopened our Aurora office. It had been closed for 5 years. We reopened that office as a bit of a information gathering experiment, and so we've opened it 2 days a week, and we were offering it for customers to come in who had complex billing challenges. We did not set up all the logistics at that Aurora office in order to take payments at that one office. Because it had been closed for 5 years, we have already set up our third-party pay arrangements with the Walmarts and the CVS's and all of that in the area. And so we felt the need was really about ensuring that those customers who had complex issues could have those one-on-one conversations. And so we reopened the office to allow for those one-on-one conversations. We did not open the office to allow for payments, given the logistics that would need to be necessary, the security. We only have one person there. I wouldn't be able to do that if I have cash there. We'd have to have multiple people there for security, for controls around the cash. We'd have to have armored car. We cannot take credit cards. Our own internal people of Liberty cannot take credit cards. We can't touch credit cards. Only a third party can, so we'd have to set up all that. So it would have been a very lengthy time as well to get all of that set up, and we understand the need is now when our customers were experiencing these more challenging issues. So we wanted to get set up very quickly, and so we've set up. We have it open as we speak. To date, again, we've seen, actually, as of the 6th, we had 3 more customers. So we've seen 11 customers in those offices. We have posted on Facebook. We have it on our website. We are trying to communicate more that the office is available and what it's available for. But do appreciate the feedback around potentially needing to look at, how can we take payments there as well. But again, our thinking was we have these other actually more convenient options for them to make payments, but we'll take a look at that.
So in Missouri, how many walk-in offices do you have in your service territory? Do you know? Down in, or you're in Joplin, I assume?
Yes, we're in Joplin, absolutely. I do not have that number off the top of my head. I believe it's but Charlotte probably does have that number off the top of her head.
Okay.
So you could ask her that exact number, but yes, we do have staff. I believe it's 5 or 6, but we'll get that exact number for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner. The judge has just a couple quick questions before we get to cross-examination.
Sure.
I would like to confirm in the supplemental stipulation, there is no recovery, 0 of customer first until after the metrics are met. Is that correct?
That's correct. There's nothing in the original $97 million that we're going to receive after we consistently receive 3 months of consistent performance of those billing metrics. Still does not have customer first recovery. Not until we set up the additional customer service metrics that we've talked about setting up in May. That's when the customer first recovery kicks in.
Judge, just so we don't get too confused by that, if it's okay, Ms. Emery probably would be the right person to talk to about those rate issues, because that second step really is a regulatory asset. There's no rate change associated with that until potentially a future rate case.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I did misspeak. That was in the global And I just wanted to confirm that the supplemental did not modify that.
That's correct.
Okay. My second question is the metrics that are in the supplemental, did Empire start tracking those on January 1st?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. We will go to cross-examination. And for the information of the parties, I made up my own schedule. I tried to look at our procedural order from the evidentiary hearing, could not locate the cross-exam order. And in the couple minutes that we had before we started, I even tried to look it up in the rule. So from my memory, the rule states something that the cross-exam goes by order of, I guess, disagreement with the party of that witness. So for company witnesses, I have the commission asking questions, and then MECG, Influent, who is not in attendance, staff, CCM, and OPC. Does anyone have any objections to that order? Excellent, we'll go with that. So we'll open this up for cross-examination. We'll start with Mr. Opitz.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We'll move to staff.
Yes, Your Honor. Earlier, you were asked about, the customer call centers, and you said that you've only had 11 customers who's visited. Now, my question for you is, what time frame were those 11 visitors visiting the call centers?
I'm sorry, that was just for Aurora. That's just since we opened Aurora. So that was in December when we opened that, and that was through January 6th.
Have you had more visitors at other locations? Do you have that number?
I do not have that number.
Okay.
Yes.
You said that, you decided that the need was now and that you have several venues to pay, Walmart, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a forever plan, or is there any plans on having that availability at your call centers to pay in Aurora?
I would say the current plan was to further expand the third-party network for the convenience of customers to make payments. There's currently not plans to expand walk-in centers on the utility property.
Moving on to the metrics, there's two different sets of metrics. One in the non-unanimous global stipulation and agreement, the other in the supplemental. You're going to be keeping track of these metrics, but who will decide ultimately when these metrics are met and when you will be allowed to start collection?
We submit the metrics on a monthly basis to the commission staff, and the staff reviews those metrics, and they determine whether we've met the metrics or not.
But does staff actually decide when the rates go into effect, or is it another body that does?
That I'm not sure about.
All right, no further questions.
Thank you. That'll take us to Consumers Council.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Walt.
Good morning.
Let me first ask a question about the arrearage forgiveness part of the original non-unanimous stipulation that you referring to. That is as I understand it, a one-time $8.5 million forgiveness of arrearages, and that's and the way that money would be spent is yet to be determined. Is that right?
That's correct.
And is that, and under the stipulation, it's states that the company will forgive the $8.5 million through a targeted relief initiative. And is your understanding that is something that the company would absorb and not necessarily the ratepayers, at least as regards as this rate case goes?
I'll let Charlotte answer that,
Okay.
just to make sure that it's answered appropriately, just to make sure I'm
That's a
not getting
question
out
for
of
the
my-
rates department folks.
That's correct,
Okay,
yes.
understood. Okay, well, let me go back to the metrics that are in the supplemental stipulation. And those are the A, B, C, D, E ones that you went through, and, or A, B, C, D, F. And would you agree with me that all except for one of those is targeting basic compliance with the rules that are the commission's billing rules in Chapter 13?
That's correct.
Okay. And I think Commissioner Mitchell was asking what part of that relates to customer service instead of just billing. And I wasn't sure I understood your answer. Which one of those A, B, C, D, E, F metrics do you believe relates to the customer experience or customer service generally?
I think they all relate to how the customer experiences us, because I think that bill that they receive every month is a reflection of how we build trust with our customers. They expect an accurate and a timely bill each and every month from us. That's what these metrics look at. What I understood the question to be was specifically about our call center performance, or how our customer service agents are handling service for our customers, and that is not reflected in these particular metrics, but we do provide visibility to that to the staff and to OPC and others on a monthly basis.
So you mentioned that you are tracking the 30 seconds to answer the phone.
Correct.
And you know what the progress is on that. Is that something that you believe would be appropriately put into a metric that could condition the rate increase?
As we think about the customer first, or the SAP system, I would anticipate through that dialogue that would most likely be some level of that will be included in that portion of the agreement.
And then you also mentioned that tracking the number of complaints at the Public Service Commission would also be a potential metric?
I think there's discussions happening. We need to have those discussions. Those metrics have yet to be determined, and I'm very open to the feedback from staff and others as to what those metrics should be for our customers. But at the end of the day, I'm here to improve service for our customers, even outside of these arrangements, and so that is something that I do watch and track and make sure that I understand.
Is that, do you track those contacts with the Public Service Commission differently as far as complaints and inquiries, or different types? Do you make a distinction between contacts that are complaints and other types of contacts?
I'm not sure. The report that I see, I believe, are informal complaints,
Okay.
informal complaints that come into the PUC.
Okay. Are there any other metrics that you think might be appropriate and helpful with regard to customer service
So
to be considered?
The metrics that I've spoke about in my testimony, and the ones that I share on a monthly basis, can continue to be ones that I watch, which are the first call resolution, customer satisfaction with our agents, cancel rebills, and average speed of answer, those types of metrics.
Is there any sort of data that the utility collects from customers rating their experiences on the phone?
That is specifically from the customers. When we say, are you satisfied with the service from the agent that you spoke to? That is one of the metrics that we measure and monitor, and our customers have said that they are 86% satisfied with speaking with that agent, which is an improvement. Ever since August, we've been above 80% success on that particular metric, and that is actual feedback from our customers.
Is that a metric that you've been reporting to the staff or public counsel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, on a monthly basis.
What about the idea of tracking customer service based on a third-party entity such as J.D. Power and Associates? Do you think that could be a metric that would be worth considering?
I have been exploring that actually with J.D. Power, because some of you may be aware we've used J.D. Power in the past. What I have learned from them is that only 2 of the utilities within the Liberty's 29 separate utilities are actually large enough to be measured against their methods and how they use them. So I'm in talks with them as we speak to figure out how we could use them as a method for us to do an assessment, but I would say currently the price tag is pretty steep for only 2 utilities to be able to measure.
So J.D. Power and Associates requires the utility to pay them to be monitored?
That's correct. A lot.
Right. Is there any monitoring that you're aware of that J.D. Power and Associates does without the utility subscribing or paying for services?
I have not been able to get any free service from them now.
Okay. Are you, what services are you currently subscribing to?
We currently do not have any. We canceled our agreement March of 2025 with them. So they were doing some assessments up until March of 2025. Since then, we have not been using them, and I've just recently been engaging in conversations, like I said, to try to understand what it is they could potentially do for us.
What was the reason for the cancellation?
The price tag.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Williams?
Public counsel stands on its objection and does not intend to waive it by engaging in cross.
Okay. Redirect from the company.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Walt, and you may have said this in response to Mr. Kaufman's questions, but would you describe the metrics in the supplemental stipulation as being focused on correct and timely billing?
Yes,
And do you believe that that's a part of good customer service?
absolutely.
Is there any benefit to the call center and its ability to respond to customer interaction and complaints from a reduction or an improvement of billing accuracy and timeliness?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Well, I guess I'm trying to get around to the question of whether the things you have done so far, whether the metrics show that the complaints that you've received have reduced over the course or did reduce over the course of 2025.
Yes, we've seen a significant reduction in complaints through 2025. We see less than 20 complaints coming in now. I think for the month of December, only 4 or 5 complaints versus a peak of over 100 complaints earlier in 2025.
And earlier when you testified in the primary evidentiary hearing here, I think you talked a little bit about you did take time to review comments that were provided at the local public hearings, correct?
Yes, and I attended the public hearings as well.
And did you hear a lot of complaints at those hearings about billing accuracy and timeliness?
I did.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Ms. Walt, you are excused from the witness stand. The next witness will be Charlotte Emery, please. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And I didn't ask the previous witness, but her name was spelled Amywalt. Would you please spell your name for our court reporter?
Yes, it's Charlotte, Charlotte, and it's Emery, Emery.
Thank you. And we will begin with commissioner questions. Chair Hahn.
Yeah, just to follow up on a couple of things we talked about already. Customer first recovery.
Yep.
As mentioned earlier, is it your understanding that in this case, there is no recovery for customer first until a future rate case? And in a future rate case, if metrics are met by month, it offers the potential, though not guaranteed, option for recovery, something for the commission to consider in a future rate case, not in this one. Is that right?
That is an accurate understanding. This 97 million does not include any dollars associated with Customer First. And if you look at that first global settlement, it pulls out roughly 20 million, I believe, that's associated with C1. And the only portion that will be allowed if we meet and when we meet the metrics is that related to the 13 million. The 6 million is forever gone. Where the company is going to forego ever being able to recover those expenses associated with Customer First. However, if and when we determine those metrics and we meet them on a monthly basis, we would record that in a regulatory asset, and that regulatory asset would be brought forth in a future rate case proceeding. And at that time, that is when the commission, the staff, all parties would get an opportunity to evaluate whether it would be appropriate to include that balance in customer rates at that time.
Thank you. The Customer First metrics, the global stipulation says that the parties, I'm assuming that's the parties to the stipulation, come up with the metrics. Is that correct?
That is the company's understanding, yes.
So it's only the parties that are signatories to the stipulation determine those metrics?
That is the company's understanding. Of course, it is ultimately up to the commission to approve whether or not those metrics are satisfactory.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. Okay. Can you describe generally the phase-in of rates?
Sure. So the phase-in is essentially a third a year of the 97 million is how it's contemplated. And so that first year, customer rates, we would file tariffs that would increase rates by essentially a third, roughly 32 million, I believe. And then those rates would stay into effect for 1 year. And then the next year, we would have an additional third added on to that. So then customers would be at that point paying 2/3 of the 97 million. And then that third and final year is when rates would fully reflect the 97 million. And then the deferral that's happening because that first year, if you're only collecting from customers 1/3, the 2/3 is getting hung up in a deferred regulatory account that will be brought forth in a subsequent rate case. So from the effective date of the rates in this case until the commission changes rates again, they would not be recovering above the 97 million.
Okay. And with any of those deferrals, are there carrying costs associated with that?
No, it's 0%.
Okay. Earlier, Commissioner Mitchell asked about the customer forgiveness program, the $8.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have asked before, but I want to ask for updated information.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the last time, if I recall, the $8.5 million was going to be all shareholder dollars, but there was about a $15 million overall customer arrearage. Is the $15 million overall arrearage, is that current, or what's the current overall arrearage?
I don't have the current overall arrearage. At that point in time, that was when we spoke in October, I believe that was the arrearage at that time. So it could have grown. I can't speak to what the balance is today, but I can provide a little bit more clarity on the $8.5 million.
Right.
I testified in October that $8.5 million would be shareholder supported. And so how it would be brought forth in a rate case, it would be a subsequent rate case. Depending on how the accounting team records it, whether they record that $8.5 million below the line or above the line. And so in the world of accounting, if it's above the line for rate making purposes, I would need to remove that so it doesn't get reflected in customer rates going forward. But if it's recorded below the line, then no adjustments needed inside of a revenue requirement because below the line accounts are not included in a revenue requirement calculation. I may have spoke a little bit too much accounting, so apologies.
I do struggle. So I think now my question is, it could potentially come before the commission, and if it won't come.
It should not as far as if it's recorded above the line, I would have to the company would make an adjustment to remove it from its revenue requirement calculation. So then it should not actually be requested to be included in rates that would come before the commission for approval.
Okay, I just want to make sure that however it's recorded, it would not come before the commission to be considered in a future rate.
Yes,
case.
I will, on the record, indicate that that is not an item that should be recovered from customers in their rates.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other commissioner questions? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, of this 97 million, how does that adjustment, does that affect the fuel surcharge at all?
It in essence, it does, because the fuel cost as part of the settlement has, I think it's $13.97 is the new FAC base rate. So that's, 97 million includes fuel. We have modified when those rates, the 97, once that's actually met, the criteria of those 3 months of the billing metrics, the FAC will be adjusted to reflect a FAC base amount of $13.97.
Okay, thank you. You answered, or between the chair and you answered several of my questions that I had, but I also want to go back to the staff's question a while ago about who's going to make that determination, and then that determination then goes on the books. It doesn't go into rates, correct? Is that the way I understood it?
So the determination of whether or not
The metrics have been met for a month, and then the staff's going to approve or not approve, disallow it, and then it goes on the books. You don't immediately then get to charge that. Is that the way I'm understanding it?
To go back to how I understood the conversation with staff in respect to who's making the ultimate decision, we are providing, the stipulation requires that we provide on a monthly basis by the 15th our metrics and support for that. And then we also agree to fully cooperate with staff and giving them the evidence to make sure that they are comfortable with if we've satisfied it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, that comes back to the commission. The staff will give their recommendation that from their work, their evaluation of it, it appears that the company has met the metrics. But ultimately, the authority to change rates lies within the commission, not within the staff's determination of whether or not we've met those metrics. However, please know that let's hypothetically say that we actually meet the first month's metrics. There isn't anything financially happening, nothing. In second month, we meet it. Nothing happens financially for the company or for the customers. Rates are staying the same. The company is still not able to change its rates, so it's only charging customers the tariffs that were actually authorized from the 21 case. That third month, if it's met, we actually still don't record anything. We don't change anything on our financials until those new rates take effect by the commission order.
Okay.
Hope that helps.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, it does. Because I was wondering if it would go into effect if the staff said,
No, it requires the approval from the commission.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Mitchell.
In the determination of the 3 months, there are 3 consecutive months, correct?
Correct.
So if you miss a month, it sort of becomes a rolling 3 months.
Yeah, the clock restarts if we miss a month.
Okay. I had just one other question for you, and if you're not the appropriate witness for it, let me know. But the global stipulation refers to an external audit, engaging an independent auditor to conduct external audits to include but not be limited to customer billing accuracy, timeliness, customer service, and satisfaction levels across all channels. And what is the purpose of that audit, and how does it relate to determining whether the metrics have been met, or does it relate to it at all?
I think indirectly it could relate to the metrics, but the purpose of that paragraph inside the settlement was to come in and make sure that we're actually looking and measuring things correctly. As we have discovered throughout the pendency of this case, the investigation, and several other ways, there's a significant amount of data now in SAP, our new software. And if you aren't using the right criteria, like the fields, you might pull in something and it may distort the data at the end of it because you pulled in an account instead of a customer account level. You're doing it at the parent level instead of at the customer level. So what we were evaluating or considering with the purpose of that is to go in and make sure all the definitions that we're using to measure stuff is right. And then on top of that, we just wanted to make sure that they're going to go in and look to make sure that we're in compliance with all the rules, regulations, tariffs. Just have a third party come in and independently evaluate that for us and help us see if there was something that, we could be doing better along the way to improve this customer satisfaction at the end of the day.
So I'm trying to resolve in my mind whether if that audit should determine that the metrics weren't met prior, is there a backward look to correct that?
I don't believe it was contemplated to go backwards and look at that. Of course, the metrics, we just developed that since the discussion in November, so I think it would be inappropriate to say it was designed to do that because we didn't design the metrics until the December-ish time frame. But I will say the metrics that we have agreed to inside of the supplemental settlement, those are metrics that staff, they're very qualified in being able to determine whether or not the company has met those. Those are Chapter 13 rules and regulations. Staff has numerous years and experience in being able to determine if a company is meeting those requirements or not.
But at the end of the day, they rely on the company's data to make that determination, and the audit will then validate that data.
Yep, they absolutely rely on the data. They do a very thorough audit on the data, and they ask questions, and that's why, they see discrepancies at times, and that's why we end up having to dig into the data a little bit more along the way and figure out, hey, did we pull in the wrong field? Because this other data point that we provided to staff looks a little different. So staff does a very good audit on it to make sure that what we're providing at the end of the day is satisfactory.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other commission questions for Ms. Emery? Hearing none, we will start with our cross-examination, and we will go first to MECG. And I note the attendance of Renew Missouri, and I left you off of my cross-exam list. Ms. Mers, would you please state your name for the record as representative of Renew Missouri?
Sure, it's Nicole Mers with Renew Missouri, and my information is in the record, and it is okay that you missed me because I have no questions, so thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Let's move to staff.
You were asked about internal audits from the commission. and you stated that staff is a good party to do that audit. What complications or issues do you have with, what's the time frame for, sorry if it's a compound, for using a internal audit as opposed to staff?
I believe that that particular portion of the stipulation, I can pull it up here, but I think it indicates that it was the external audit and it would be done within a year of the rates being effective.
So,
And sorry, I would elaborate that it's using, we're gonna do an RFP process, use the help of the other signees on the settlement agreement to make sure that the scope of the work and scope of that audit is appropriate.
so is it fair to say that if you did have to use an external audit, then that would mean that you wouldn't be able to collect on anything until after a year?
So, I was saying that I do not believe that the intention of that paragraph was to guide the metrics associated with the 3 consecutive months or the metrics that's held in the supplemental, because that part of the paragraph or that paragraph was contained within the original agreement, which was formed in October. The supplemental metrics came in after the discussion in November. I don't believe there was any intention for that particular paragraph stipulation to govern the supplemental. However, I do think that there was some discussion that perhaps, depending on the timing, they could look at the metrics associated with the customer first, which was designed to come in May of 2026.
Thank you. No further questions?
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Vandergriff. Next on my list, Consumers Council.
No questions. I think my questions have been asked. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. I appreciate that. And Mr. Williams.
Stand on our objection.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Ms. Emery, redirect from the company.
Thank you, Your Honor. Real quickly, and not to be too repetitive, but just so that we're all on the same sheet of music in terms of the metrics, we really have been talking about 2 sets of metrics, correct?
Correct.
And the first set that are included, or that will be applied first, that are included in the supplemental stipulation, apply to Empire getting a rate increase, correct?
Yes.
And separately, and you described that rate increase and the phase-in and all those aspects of it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's a second set of metrics yet to be determined that were originally described at a high level in the base stipulation or the original non-unanimous global stipulation, correct?
Yes.
And it's those metrics, the consequence of achieving those metrics are the potential for recording some dollars into a regulatory asset, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And that's one of the potential regulatory assets that could be considered in the next rate case that you discussed with Chair Hahn, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have the base stipulation with you?
I do. Let me get it pulled up here. Okay.
And if you would turn to page 6 in paragraph 19.
Okay.
And would you agree that's the external audits paragraph that was being discussed recently in your testimony?
Yes.
Okay. And if you would look down to the third line of that paragraph, there's a sentence that says the primary goal. Would you read that sentence?
Sure. The primary goal of these audits is to evaluate Liberty's current policies and performance against industry standards and peer utility benchmarks with the intent of identifying opportunities for improvement and establishing measurable criteria for future success.
And the sentence after that establishes the time frame for that audit, correct? What's the time frame?
The audits will be completed within 1 year from the effective date of new rates established in this proceeding.
Okay. That's all the questions I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Before we excuse our witness, we do have one more question from the chair. That does mean that we will go back through cross-examination and redirect. Chair Houghton.
Sorry, I'm back on the arrearage forgiveness program. Absent this stipulation and agreement, would that arrearage forgiveness program exist?
No.
Follow-up. If this stipulation is adopted, when would that arrearage forgiveness program be made available to customers?
So inside of the settlement term, it indicates that we would need to work with the parties to determine how to apply it. You know, there's, at the end of the day, we have the 8.5 million, but there's different views among the parties on how that should, which customers, and how to let that benefit. So we'll start working with the parties on that. However, I would say the 8.5 million going out the door and being applied to customer accounts will align with the effective date of rates. So when the 97 million comes in, that's when the 8.5 million would essentially be owed to apply to customer accounts. To me, it aligns with the matching principle. The 97 million aligns with the 8 million on that. So, said another way, if the company meets all 3 months, so we meet it in January, meet it in February, and meet it in March, during those time frames, during that time, we need to be working with the parties to determine what that forgiveness program actually looks like. And then in a perfect world, let's say we sign off, we give all the documentation to staff by April 15th for March's data. And then, you know, administratively, let's just say it takes a couple of weeks to do what they need to do. So then they get to the end of April, they give their recommendation to the commission that, hey, it looks like the company has met all the criteria. You all agree with that, and let's say you issue an order in April to make those new rates effective. That's when we would go out and apply if the parties had fully reached an agreement on how the 8.5 million should be sent out or applied to customer accounts. That's when we would do that at that point in time.
So if you don't meet the metrics, when would you plan to apply the program?
If we never meet the metrics.
Or on the timeline you described, maybe it takes longer. Yeah. When would the customer arrearage program be available?
Again, I believe that it is when the effective date, that is how we hadn't actually discussed it. So this is just Charlotte's opinion. We can certainly work with the parties, work with the commission on the timing of it, but in my head it goes with the matching of the 97 million. So when the company has rates designed to collect 97 million, even if it's phased over 3 years, that's when the obligation to pay that out and put that on customer bills or apply it to their accounts would occur.
I'm glad you stated that, because that's not the way I had contemplated it or thought that it might work.
That particular paragraph is silent in regards to the effective date. If you look throughout many portions of the paragraphs and stipulated items, many other areas say like effective, a year from the effective date of rates, but that particular item is silent. I suspect, not suspect, I know that setting here today was not contemplated when we put that stipulation together in that particular term. Generally speaking, if the settlement would have been approved without the additional supplemental, and the rates would have went in effect, it would have just been effective at the date of the commission order as well. This is a unique situation in the fact that we have a settlement term that it's silent in regards to it. So frankly, at the end of the day, I suppose it is ultimately up to the commission if you wanted to order us to be, that becomes effective at the effective date of the order, it could be.
I'm contemplating that it could be applied prior to performance metrics being met. It's apparent that customers have significant arrearage now, potentially as a result of billing discrepancies. And so I think that the commission will just need to contemplate how that program is applied. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other commissioner questions for Ms. Emery? Hearing none, we will go back through our cross-examination list. We will start first with MECG.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Renew Missouri.
Good, thank you.
Staff.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
CCM.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page on this arrearage forgiveness, paragraph 28 of the original base stipulation. And as the company's stipulation here, which is now a position statement, the wording is, the first sentence is, the company will forgive $8.5 million in customer arrears through a targeted relief initiative. I don't see anything in that paragraph that conditions that on any particular revenue requirement being phased in. Is that
Yes,
right?
that's what I indicated.
Okay. And so, even though there might have been a different contemplation, there's nothing in either the first stipulation or the supplemental stipulation that conditions that, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. And Office of Public Counsel.
Stand on our objections.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. And redirect.
No further redirect. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Emery, you are excused from our witness stand. The commission would like to now turn to staff witnesses. The commission would like to call up Mr. Tyrone Thomason. And while Mr. Thomason makes his way to the witness stand, I just wanted to remind everyone in the room and listening online, we will be adjourning. We will be recessing at about 10:40. Assuming we do not get through all of the witnesses in that time, and that is to make time for agenda, and then we have a rulemaking hearing, we will likely adjourn to 1 o'clock. I am sorry for the delay. Mr. Thomason, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth? I do. Please have a seat and state and spell your name for the record.
My name is Tyrone Thomason, Tyrone Thomason.
Thank you, sir. And are there any commissioner questions for Mr. Thomason?
I'll ask one.
Commissioner Coleman, go ahead.
Since he's gone through the trouble of getting sworn in. So, good morning.
Good morning.
You've heard the testimony this morning from Ms. Walt. Excuse me, I got to go back and make sure I say her name right. Walt and Ms. Emery.
rule and tariff violations that staff has found that have occurred more or less continuously since April 2024. And so our thought was that if we can provide metrics that have the company fix these issues, then that would show improvement from the starting point of April 2024. So that is what, just for the 97 million, that is what we're doing for just the rule violations. This will not cover all of the other customer service issues, many of which you will find in my testimony in this case. Those will be covered in the customer first asset metrics that will be developed by the end of May of 2026, sorry.
In your opinion, what happens if the customer service metrics are not met? What are our options?
For the 97 million?
Yes.
The company, my understanding is they don't receive the 97 million increase unless they are met for 3 consecutive months.
I'm sorry, say that again. I couldn't hear you very well.
My understanding is that they would not receive their revenue requirement increase if they do not meet those metrics for 3 consecutive months.
Okay.
And I can add on to that is that staff's intention is to roll in these metrics into the customer first metrics as well. So compliance won't be just for the 3 months, will be going forward as well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other commission questions for Mr. Thomason? Commissioner Kolkmeyer, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Judge. Good morning, Mr. Thomason. For the most part, have you agreed with the procedures that the 2 company witnesses have set forth? Have you agreed with that process? I don't want you to go back over it, but have you agreed with what they have said?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission questions for Mr. Thomason? We will go to cross-examination. Let me check my list. For staff witnesses, the order I have written down is Empire, MECG, Renew, CCM, and OPC. So we will turn first to the company.
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Opitz. Ms. Mers? Consumers Council.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Thomason.
Good morning.
First, I want to clarify that I heard you correctly earlier. You were talking about the metrics relating to customer first, and I think you said something about how you expected those metrics to go forward into the future. And,
Yes.
yeah, could you explain what you meant by that?
So the 6 metrics that we have here in the supplemental stipulation, staff's intention is that when we do the customer first assets, the ones, customer first metrics, those metrics that will be developed by the end of May, it will be these 6 metrics with additional metrics, the customer service metrics.
Okay. So you're saying that you would anticipate that the supplemental stipulation metrics that are proposed as a condition to any rate increase going into effect would then also be part of the customer first metrics?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I understand. And let me ask you about the staff investigation into Liberty's, the separate case that I believe you're involved with.
Yes, I am.
And when we were here for the regular hearing, you said that you were expecting a report by December 31st, and that the delay up until then had been because new issues kept resurfacing and the scope.
Judge, before we finish this question, I'm sorry, Mr. Kaufman, I'm going to make an objection just because I think this is beyond the commission questions that were asked of Mr. Thomason.
Mr. Kaufman?
Well, I think they're pretty relevant. They're just about the about billing issues and you know issues that we think aren't sufficiently included in the current metrics.
This has been a pretty convoluted case, and this on the record has been scheduled rather late in the process. So I'm willing to give Consumers Council a little latitude. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, regardless of what the reason for the delay to December 31st, you asked for another delay, staff asked for another delay, and the commission granted it until February. Right, so those of us that are parties to this case will not have the benefit of that report until after a rate case decision is made in this rate case, right?
That's most likely, yes.
Well, first of all, what was the reason for that staff requested another delay in that report?
I believe in the motion for the status report, the reasons were continued discovery and press of business.
Okay. Are there any billing issues that you've seen in the investigation thus far that would be relevant?
I'm sorry, Mr. Kaufman, I misunderstood. I thought you had asked about heat rates, which is paragraph 42 of the global stipulation. I did not
No, Your Honor.
understand that you intended to ask about a separate case.
Well, it was a case about the very topic we're here discussing, the billing issues of this utility. And, I mean, the witnesses...
How many more questions do you have, Mr. Kaufman?
Just, I don't know, a couple, depending on the answers I get. Let me say, the question that I want to ask is, are there other issues that have popped up in the investigation that staff has made that are not being addressed in either of these stipulations?
Mr. Kaufman, on its face, that does not seem like an appropriate question to me. Do you have another question?
No, that's what I have.
Okay,
I
thank you.
understand. Thank you.
Public Counsel, Mr. Williams.
Public Counsel stands on its objection.
Thank you, sir. And we'll go back to redirect.
Good morning, Mr. Thomason. You were asked earlier, do you agree with the positions that the company witnesses had, portrayed before the commission before? I want to turn back to the question regarding who will agree on the metrics. Do you have the original non-unanimous global stipulation and agreement available to you?
Yes, I do.
If you turn to page 2, paragraph 6, would you mind reading the first sentence in that section, in that paragraph?
It says, the parties will confer on the appropriate and reasonably achievable monthly normalized performance metrics and targets in the separate investigation and reach agreement by May 31st, 2026.
Do you agree, or do you find anything in that sentence that limits the approval process to the signatories, or does it include all parties, including parties like the OPC and Consumers Council? I'll rephrase it. Will the OPC and Consumer Council be involved with conferring on the appropriate and reasonably achievable monthly normalized performance metrics and targets?
I'm not aware of anything in this agreement that would say otherwise.
And are we still, the parties, working on the new conditions to be met for Customer First, or has that been established?
Those discussions are not started yet.
No further questions.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Thomason. You are excused from the witness stand. Commissioners, we have one more witness that I have on my list. We are up against our time to try and get in activities of the commissioners, and then agenda at 11. Would the commissioners like to go ahead and call one witness, or would the commissioners prefer to recess until 1 o'clock? Okay, we have a decision. We will recess in just a minute, and we will come back at 11:30. I previously had mentioned 1 o'clock. That is incorrect. 11:30. I have it on good advice. That agenda will be relatively short today, and so we are coming back at 11:30. Any questions before I bang the gavel and we go into recess? Excellent. We are at recess. Thank you.
Okay, so today, don't you have a meeting today with Ameren? You don't have a meeting with Ameren today? He claims he does.
Well, hang on. Is this it?
This is the one with, who is it with, do you know?
Well, I guess the invitation was from Gay.
Yeah, it was from Gay and it's for,
Yeah, okay. I'm here. Well, I'm at 11:30, so.
well,
Yeah. So you're meeting with them at noon?
and I'm down for 12:30.
And you're at 12? Glenn, are you at 12? Can I join you? I don't see why not. Okay, all right.
Do you want me to join you at 1:30 or do you want to do it by yourself? Oh, okay. You two were on my calendar, you were both down.
My
for
calendar's
11:30.
My calendar's not that granular. Mine just says May.
May, M-A-Y?
M-E.
M-E? See, attached to the notes, it's got you and Kochmeyer 11:30, me at 12:30, and Chirahan at 1:30.
My notes don't say any such thing.
Yeah, click on your notes on the calendar.
Right here? Notes, show more.
At the very bottom. No? That's what my notes say.
So mine says meeting PSC agenda room.
Is Donna out there by any chance? If Donna's out there, send her in, please. Okay. Thank you.
11:30 tomorrow.
Well, you probably should talk to Kochmeyer since y'all scheduled together. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
You know what dress I'm wearing tomorrow? A dress from
What you call it?
I just called this one of my friends called it that. She's like, oh yeah, the dirty diligence. Actually, it kind of is. I still kind of love it. Yeah. Oh, there's Lloyd. I had to wait 10 minutes on the elevator. And the we should go around.
Okay. Yeah, Donna, see if you can pull that up. I can't, access my Dropbox. Okay, I'm coming.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, okay. Okay, sounds good.
Still on with Gay. I'm sorry, did I bump into you?
No, you're good. I can't even get out of this calendar.
Oh, yeah?
How do I get back to the, thank you.
And then there's a Dropbox.
Okay, good. Thank you.
What are you doing?
I'm coming. Gotta check my lipstick. Yours is fine.
Is there a Lexi Klaus in the back? Lexi Klaus. Should've got that.
Yeah, right.
Lexi Klaus. Oh, there she is. Here I am. Well, good morning.
Morning.
The reason we're all here.
It's ominous.
And you may have been tipped off to come down, don't know, but you have been nominated as Employee of the Month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna turn it over to Travis to talk about your nomination.
Yeah, Lexi, I nominated you for Employee of the Month. Pretty much overall, since you came back, you've been either a member of the Staff Council's office, not just to our team, but to me personally, but have improved. Eventful year last year, you stepping in on some of the biggest cases that we had in the commission last year, took over like you've never done. Pretty much you hit the ground running, one of the hardest workers in the Staff Council's office. And not only that, you also listen to everyone, you bring people together, you are essential. Any kind of litigation strategy. Maybe one of the best you've done.
Thank you.
And so with all that said, that's really brought it amongst recognized. I'm very happy to do this.
God damn.
I echo everything you said. On top of that, just the fact that you jumped in on these orange load cases we did. I really appreciate it.
Excelsior.
And you're just a nice person.
Thank you.
With that, you get this fancy
Oh, do we get to do the official?
Olympic blood blend. We will. But in addition, you get 8 hours.
Congratulations.
Commissioner, thank you. Appreciate it.
Your hands are Thank you. Thank you. Chicago, okay, I had a way for it. Okay. I've got a, whenever we wrap up with all our, whatever we're doing today, I'm in all that. Yes. Tomorrow would be the best. Let's do it in the morning, because I got a 12 o'clock, neighbor committee meeting, I got to zoom in. You want to do 11 o'clock? Well, 11, tell Donna 11 o'clock, we will agree to. Okay. Oh, okay, 11 tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Well, that's great. You got exciting things happening this year. So then, 2 babies and a wedding. Well, both the kids, yeah, both the kids will be born this year. What they said. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. Look at you. I can see some just expanding the family. Oh, yeah? So did you dress up as a trip? Yeah, you got pictures? They on your phone? No? You gotta get some. Okay, make sure you get some and let us see them. All right, and let's hurry up and get this 11:30 thing over with, because they got popcorn and stuff upstairs, and I need to get me some popcorn. Hot chocolate chip. Now I gotta leave and go check out the donut. I got time. Now I gotta leave. There might be a donut I want. I can always get popcorn and hot chocolate. They have the best donuts. They really do. They have some really, yeah. They have some good donuts. Yeah. I'm gonna.
Wonder who brought
call her
those?
and Tell her if. What?
They are Schulte's.
Where is that in Odessa, or is that?
No, it's,
It,
yes.
oh yeah, it's right off of
You know where Holiday Inn Express is?
on Culver,
You go just
54,
54.
like you're going toward the lake.
Yes.
And it's right there at the Mass Gem City exit.
Yeah.
Jefferson Smith Highway.
Yes.
Yeah, it's right there.
179.
You stayed at your place at the lake last night?
No, at Holiday Inn. So it was just up the,
Yeah, it's right
just
up
up the
the
street.
hill. Yeah. See, if there's a blueberry donut, grab it.
No, I described a box of all glaze. I'm sorry, but I looked in their case. I looked in their case, and the most of their specialties were gone. They had some cinnamon rolls left, and so
I don't need them, you know. This is just gonna help me. I weighed myself this morning. I gained 4 over the Christmas. I've gained 4 since I left here 2.5 weeks ago, between Christmas and.
Oh.
Well, so some girlfriends and I get together and bring New Year's Eve together every year in Bruce Chris.
Oh,
And
nice.
so, you know, you gotta drink, you got to eat. And I had the best filet I've ever had in my life. It melted in my mouth. I decided, don't have a ribeye, because that's my favorite cut of beef. But I may have to go to fillets now. I love all that.
We lost our Ruth's Chris in Kansas City, and I hate that.
What did days. You still
What,
got
10
Capital
years ago?
Grill?
10 years ago?
Really?
We still have Capitol Grill.
Morton's, is it Morton's in Kansas City also?
I don't,
No?
no, I don't believe so.
Yeah, we've got two still in St. Louis out of the three that were originally there, so I don't know what's going on with them.
McCormick and Schmitz went there a month or so ago and was very disappointed.
Yeah.
Was the first time out of.
For steak or for fish?
I had a steak. I had a Wagyu and I couldn't chew it. Sent it by, I literally sent it back. And it was
Wow,
Wagyu.
it's expensive cut of
Yeah.
beef that is?
Yes.
And it was that bad?
Yes.
That's too bad.
Well, in the place where Chris was,
That's good.
it's pretty good.
What
Yeah,
kind
but-
of
I actually think it's better because
Soup, all I've had,
Steak.
seafood there. Have you?
steak and seafood.
Okay, I get it.
And they really have just about
It's very good.
I'm hungry for some seafood today, actually. After we left the hearing last night, I was driving past a Little Caesars, and I'm like, I'm gonna need something to eat, so I just ran.
I
in
saw
there.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got an order of Parmesan chicken wings.
Do we have
They
Little
were good.
Caesars in
They
Kansas
were really
City?
good.
I think we had it one time, but I don't.
Yeah, this first time I've been to them before, but this first time I've ever been to one in Missouri. My daughter lives in Collinsville, Illinois, and she loves that place, so I drove by and I'm like, let me just turn around and get me some dinner to take home. So is it almost time? Oh, it's 1 minute till. You didn't finish telling,
Jeez.
is she at the parish school over here?
Wow. Where does she go to school?
Right here by the Capitol.
You know what I found out after having kids in Catholic schools for almost 30 years? Are you familiar with the Missouri Scholars?
This meeting is being transcribed and summarized.
Is it? Oh. I didn't miss it. What?
What is the program?
Yeah, but your taxes. Well, we had a gigantic tax bill this year, so it was helpful.
Right, I guess we're ready, since we get to be back at 11:30.
Hey, next week, since we're going to be here like really early, for the prayer breakfast, should we think about moving up? Whenever's convenient. I'm just hanging around afterwards, so.
Maybe 9:30 or 10, because it's probably gonna go till at least 8:30 or 9.
That totally works for me.
Moves up an hour. You bringing your wife down with you? She gonna come?
No.
Is that no?
Okay, good morning, everyone. It is just after 11 a.m. and all the commissioners are present, so we will begin the agenda meeting for today, Wednesday, January 7th. I would ask those who are participating on the call to please mute your phone unless you need to speak. Today there are 4 new orders, but first we have minutes to approve, both regular and closed minutes from December 17, 2025, and the public meeting minutes with SPP and MISO. We're going to take all of those together. Commissioners, are there any changes or modifications to any sets of those minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving all 3 sets of minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? By a vote of 4-0, those minutes are approved. The first tariff in order today is in case OX-2026-0045 in the matter of the proposed Commission Rule 20 CSR 4240-10.035 relating to residential advanced meter or hub meter opt-out. The order before us is a final order of rulemaking in this matter. The Commission commenced this rulemaking to reflect changes that were part of Senate Bill 4 that became effective August 28th. The Commission received several written comments at the rulemaking hearing and appreciates stakeholder participation. With that, I recommend we approve the order version number 1. Commissioner Coleman.
I support the order.
Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
I support the order.
Commissioner Mitchell.
I'm in support of the order.
All those in favor of approving this order, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? By a vote of 4-0, that order is approved. Second tariff renewal order today is in file number GC-2026-0007, Jonathan Miller versus Spire. On December 13th, the complainant timely filed an application for a rehearing. Section 386-500 states the Commission shall grant an application for rehearing if in its judgment sufficient reason therefore be made to appear. After reviewing the application, the Commission finds it does not demonstrate sufficient reason to rehear this matter. Therefore, the order before us denies this application. With that, I recommend we approve this order version number 3. Commissioner Coleman.
I support the order.
Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
I'm also in support.
Commissioner Mitchell.
I support the order.
All those in favor of approving this order, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? By a vote of 4-0, that order is approved. The next item on the agenda involves 2 cases, file numbers EO-2025-0323, in the matter of the third prudence review of the Missouri Energy Efficiency Investment Act, or MEA, Cycle 3, and first prudence review of MEA Cycle 4 energy efficiency programs of Evergy, Missouri West, in case EO-2025-0324, and the matter of the third prudence review of MEA Cycle 3 and the first prudence review of MEA Cycle 4 energy efficiency programs of Evergy, Missouri Metro. On June 2nd, staff filed notice stating it had started its prudence review of Evergy's Cycle 3 and 4 MEA energy efficiency program costs. On October 30th, staff filed its recommendation report in which staff recommended various adjustments. After discussions, staff and Evergy filed a stipulation and agreement, and on December 9th, that resolved all issues staff had raised during its prudence review. OPC was not a party to the agreement, but the agreement contained a statement that OPC does not object. The agreement commits Evergy to reducing its MEA recovery by just under $70,000 plus interest, and does not allow Evergy to request MEA recovery for certain items and sponsorships that are not directly related to MEA programs. After reviewing the agreement, the Commission finds it reasonable, and the order before us approves the request to consolidate these 2 cases and approves the stipulation and agreement. With that, I recommend we approve the order version number 1. Commissioner Coleman.
I support the order.
Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
I support the order.
Commissioner Mitchell.
I'm in support of the order.
All those in favor of approving this order, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? By a vote of 4-0, that order is approved. Did I? Yeah, okay. Fourth tariff in order today is in file number EO-2025-0154, in the matter of the application of Evergy, Missouri Metro and Evergy, Missouri West for approval of new and modified tariffs for service to large load customers. On December 12th, OPC filed a motion and application requesting the Commission reconsider and rehear this matter. While OPC contends there are a myriad of issues the Commission did not address in its report and order, the Commission disagrees. The Commission held an evidentiary hearing in this case, at which the Commission was presented with testimony from parties to the settlement agreement, in addition to the pre-filed testimony. Signatories adopted the terms of the settlement agreement as their positions and provided testimony at the hearing that explained and supported the terms and conditions of the agreement. Ultimately, the Commission based its decision on the relevant law, Section 393-137 RISMO, which was part of Senate Bill 4 and became effective on August 28th. That statute requires all electrical corporations, including Evergy, to have a separate tariff designed to serve large users with rates and terms that reflect the large users' representative share of costs, and importantly, are designed so that other customers are not paying any unjust or unreasonable costs. The Commission reviewed all of the evidence in this case and ultimately ordered the proposal that most aligned with the above-mentioned statute. The Commission explained in multiple sections of the report and order why the recommendations of the signatories to the settlement adhered to the statute and why alternative proposals did not. The Commission also specifically addressed in its report and order several issues that were not part of the settlement agreement, including issues raised by staff and OPC. And the Commission also explicitly addressed in its report and order if OPC's program proposals should be adopted. Given this, after reviewing OPC's motion and application, the Commission does not find sufficient reason to reconsider or rehear this matter. Thus, the order before us denies OPC's motion and application. With that, I recommend we approve the order version number 1. Commissioner Coleman.
I support the order.
Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
I support the order.
Commissioner Mitchell.
I'm in support of the order.
All those in favor of approving this order, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? By a vote of 4-0, that order is approved. Last item on the agenda today is scheduling. So today at 11:30, we will have the continuation of the on-the-record hearing. And then following that at 12 noon, we do have a rulemaking hearing in case WX-2026-0108 in the matter of the proposed Commission Rule 20 CSR 4240-10.195 on the acquisition of small water and sewer systems, also in this same room with Judge DePel. Thursday, January 8th, we have a local public hearing in case EA-2025-0239 in the matter of the application of Ameren, Missouri for permission and a CCN to construct renewable generation facilities. That is WebEx only, beginning at noon with Judge Fuel. Wednesday, January 14th, we have agenda at 10 a.m., so please note that time change. Wednesday, January 21st, we have agenda at 11 a.m. And Wednesday, January 28th, we have agenda at 11 a.m. We also have an evidentiary hearing in case WR-2025-0345 in the matter of the petition of Missouri American to establish a water and sewer infrastructure rate adjustment here in room 310 at 1:30 with Judge Sire. Commissioners, are there any changes or modifications to the schedule? Hearing none, any other business coming before the Commission? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Holzman just called.
All right, let's go back on the record. We have had a complicated morning. We have had our internet go out. We have reestablished our internet connection and our WebEx. We are continuing the on-the-record evidentiary proceeding in case number ER-2024-0261. This is the general rate increase request of the Empire District Electric Company doing business as Liberty. The commission will call this next witness, Ms. Kim Bolin, please. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please state and spell your name for the record.
My name is Kimberly Bolin, and Bolin is spelled B-O-L-I-N.
Thank you. Are there any commissioner questions for Ms. Bolin? Chair Hahn. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you. Ms. Bolin, this is probably this is a general question. We've heard testimony this morning from Empire, from our staff, and based on the talk about the performance metrics in relation to billing requirements that needs to be complied with regarding existing commission rules. Do you have any input, any information you can provide to us about your perspective?
I'm not quite sure I understand your question,
Well, I guess relative to the purposes of the commission rules, which I believe is to ensure that adequate service is provided. So does the compliance with the listed commission rules and the stipulation ensure that Empire customers are receiving adequate service?
for the supplemental metrics, it goes to proper billing. The customers are receiving a timely and accurate bill. So I believe that is part of adequate customer service. There are other things, you know, reliability and other metrics too that go into adequate customer service. But I believe these metrics meet the billing timeliness and billing accuracy metrics we would like to see.
I know that it was mentioned a couple times by the Empire witnesses that, and even Mr. Thomason noted also, staff participation. And I'm looking forward, I think, to there being some significant oversight regarding the stipulation. And I suspect that the attitude of staff, your department, will certainly be on top of all of this also.
Absolutely. We take these metrics very seriously, and we will be evaluating these very thoroughly.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioner questions for Ms. Bolin? Chair Hahn.
Yes. Morning, Ms. Bolin.
Good morning.
One, just want to say appreciate you working with the company to try to develop some metrics that we can measure performance by. I think ultimately we are interested in performance. This is a unique stipulation in a lot of ways. It has metrics, performance, targets, no immediate increase, deferrals. I've been a short timer, but it seems unique. Because it is so unique, do you think that these are the best possible positions that the commission could adopt to result in just and reasonable rates?
Yes, I do.
In your experience, have you seen similar stipulations like this?
Not to this level in all the definitions of metrics and developing metrics for a later case. I have seen phase-ins, but this is a unique case in my experience.
I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Chair. Any other commissioner questions for Ms. Bolin? I have just a couple. I just want to ask confirmation questions. We heard from Empire Witnesses that they felt that the metrics started being tracked on January 1st of 2026. Is that also your view?
That is my understanding, yes.
And is it also staff's view that there is no recovery of customer first until after the metrics are met and then submitted in a rate case?
Which set of metrics are you talking about? We have
The-
the original, the one in the supplemental, those we know for sure they are tracking January 1st. We agreed to that. The ones that are in the non-unanimous global stipulation, those metrics are yet to be determined.
Yes. My question is, did you agree with the earlier witnesses that there is no recovery of the customer first asset?
Until those, the metrics that are included in the global stipulation are met.
Thank you very much. That's all the questions I have. I'll ask one more time. Any commissioner questions for Ms. Bolin? We will go to cross-examination, and we will start with the company.
No questions.
Thank you, MECG.
No, thank you.
Renew Missouri.
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Kaufman with Consumers Council.
Yes, thank you. I still have some confusion regarding the timing of the metrics and the phase-in. My confusion stemmed from trying to read these two documents together, the original stipulation and the supplemental stipulation. And so with regard to the metrics that are a condition of getting any rate increase, that's the metrics that are specified in the supplemental stipulation. When those are met for 3 consecutive months, does that start year one as far as the phase-in in the original stipulation?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so in other words, if it takes 12 months for Liberty to meet those metrics in the supplemental stipulation, year one would start 12 months, at that point.
That is correct.
So the rate increase that would occur at that time would be the 32.3 million, not the 64.6 million.
That is correct.
Great. Okay, that helps clarify, or at least, I guess, what staff's position is on this. And when that phase-in goes in year one, that's a revenue requirement increase, right?
The 32 million is a revenue requirement increase, yes.
But in the original base stipulation, referring to it, it is mentioned that there will be a phase-in of rates as agreed to by these parties. This will result in a regulatory asset. Could you clarify to me how you understand what this means in paragraph 8?
When you have the phase-in, the company, if you didn't have a phase-in, the company would normally earn $97 million increase over rates. In the case of the phase-in, they will not earn that 2/3 or roughly $62 million. So that $62 million will go into a deferred asset to be recovered in a future rate case.
Okay, so when this document says this will result in a regulatory asset, it's referring to the difference between the year one 32.3 million and
The $97 million, yes.
okay.
And then in year two, it would be the difference between the 97 million and the roughly 62 million, or 64.6 million, excuse me.
Is that specified anywhere in these two documents?
I think that is normally how a phase-in works.
Okay, and
I'm not sure if it is exactly spelled out that way in the document.
okay, so do you believe it would be important for the commission to specify how they're interpreting that sentence?
If the commission feels they need to, that'd be fine.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. And the Office of the Public Counsel, Mr. Williams.
Stand on our objection.
Thank you, sir. And we have redirect.
No redirect, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Boland, thank you. You are excused from the witness stand. I know that a lot of employees of the various parties have made themselves available to be here today, and I sincerely appreciate that. The commission has been working on the questions and how to approach this, and we were unable to give anyone a heads up that they would or would not be called. So with that said, I really appreciate and thank all of the online folks that have appeared, all of the folks that are here in the back prepared to testify. But that does conclude the witnesses that the commission would like to call. Is there anything else from the parties? Okay. With that, any announcements from the bench? I'm ready to adjourn our proceeding. Okay, thank you all. We are adjourned and off the record.